So I'm currently in Bordeaux at the moment. This is day 6 and I am so exhausted. This is what it's like for highly sensitive people being in cities.
Being a highly sensitive person sometimes feels like a curse. It makes life harder. There are less places, less spaces we can truly come alive and thrive in. After too much stimulation, we feel empty, depleted. Our internal battery has run out of charge. Even smiling feels like an enormous task that requires energy that we no longer have. As highly sensitive people, we need to prioritize a few things. We need soothing, stillness, and spaciousness. Being highly sensitive, we can feel things intensely. Joy is experienced deeply. We can more easily step into the present moment. We have this innate ability to marvel, to appreciate the sensory experiences that are around us. And it makes life such a beautiful wonder to behold. But it comes at a cost, and it's one that can make our options limited. Being highly sensitive, living intentionally is necessary, even required. I want to share the dark side of being a highly sensitive person, how frustrating it can be when your mind, your will, wants you to go out and be social and engage in activities. But your inner voice asks you to slow down, to soothe and nurture yourself. If you are someone who has someone in your life that is highly sensitive to overstimulation, I hope that by sharing my experience recently while in Bordeaux and the heaviness that I felt, you may see your loved ones with fresh eyes and a compassionate heart.
This is a video for my fellow introverts, my fellow highly sensitive souls. As I'm getting older, I am becoming more and more sensitive to the energies of people, to the energies of environments, rooms, spaces, stimulation from sight, sound, smell. Like, I've become so sensitive to stimulation as I've gotten older. I find myself extremely exhausted and devoid of energy after being in a city for too long or being around people for too long. I'm currently in Bordeaux. Alex and I were supposed to be here for 4 days for his spring break vacation. Ended up being 6 days because the flight was canceled and rescheduled. So we're here for 6 days and it is day 6. We leave tomorrow morning and wow. This trip has just confirmed what I already thought about myself, which is I cannot be in cities for longer than 5 days. If I ever live in a city someday, I have to live in a suburb or live a 15-minute, 20-minute, maybe even an hour train ride outside of the city where it's green and there are trees and grass and spaciousness. This is something that I've really noticed for my fellow introverts or just highly sensitive people. Spaciousness, I find, is one of the core critical components to a place that makes us feel aligned and energized. If we're around crowds of people, or if we're around enclosed spaces or spaces that feel very tight and like shops and like little streets that are just congested with people and stores and lights and sounds and smells, that can really take our energy very quickly. But for those of you who are very sensitive to stimulation and crowds of people and the energies of people, this is really important for us, that we have spaciousness. I'm also an introvert, and so for me, I need to spend a large majority of my day alone. My husband is my best friend and the greatest, amazing, he's my rock, right? He's my favorite person in the world. I can be with him longer than I can be with anyone else. But even with him, I found that by day 3, I was getting really tired of always being around someone's energy, being in the vicinity of someone else. And so introverts, I really recommend taking time to be by yourself. If you're traveling with someone, or you're traveling with friends, or you're traveling with people, or your partner, or your family, or your parents, take some time to be by yourself. Take some time to be alone, to go back to your room, to go to a bookshop by yourself, to go to a cafe by yourself, to go sit in the park and just sit on the grass for a while. I did that earlier today and it was really good for my soul. But I just took some time to be alone here in the Airbnb before dinner tonight, and it feels so good to be in a space that's just my own. It feels so good to be in a room where there's no other energies in the room and I can just be silent and be still. We're going back home tomorrow in the morning and I cannot tell you how excited I am to go back to Corsica. Like, this is not how I started my trip. The first 3 days of being in Bordeaux, I was over the moon. I was like, oh my gosh, I want to move to Bordeaux. I want to spend a month here. And now after being here for just 6 days, like day 5, day 6, I'm like, I have nothing to give. I have no energy to give anyone. I wanted to record this footage for you very spontaneously because this is what it feels like. This is what it looks like for a highly sensitive person, an introvert, an empath, if you want to use that term. If you're around energy for prolonged periods of time, and especially if you're in a city where there's a lot of congestion and a lot of crowded energies all together in one spot, that can be really draining and that can really exhaust your battery. I really encourage anyone out there who is like this to have boundaries and uphold them with other people. Say no to the people in your group that want to keep going out and keep doing things, and take care of yourself. Cater to your own needs. I love quiet living. I really do. Like, every time I go to a city, after like day 4 or 5, I'm reminded of how much I thrive in nature, how much I thrive in the suburbs, in a place where there's just more spaciousness. There's a feeling of empty space around me, like trees and sky, and not a lot of apartments staring back at me and surrounding me on all sides. I really need that quiet and that space, and this trip, as well as many others, has really just solidified what I thought. That I love simple living and simple quiet living and living in a peaceful, quiet place, and then taking trips to cities, but not living in cities. I think for me, I've talked about on this channel how I dream of living in so many different places in the world and so many different cities. In Paris, like I would love to live in Paris someday. But it's really just confirmed to me that I need to live in a suburb outside of a city. Like, if I live in Paris, I need to take the RER B train or A train every day into the city if that's what I want to do, or every other day. But I can't live in a city center. Like, oh my gosh, it's exhausting. So I'm realizing, I think when we do Montpellier, like, I'm really gonna have to go slow. And I hope that this encourages you. If you're someone that's similar to me and that you are highly sensitive to energies, I hope this is a reminder that you can take it slow. You can uphold your boundaries and say no to people and choose not to go to another bar or go do another thing, and stay home. Go to the park. Enjoy yourself. Take care of yourself, because your energy is what matters the most. And as long as you take care of yourself, you'll be able to give plentifully to other people around you. Yeah. So this is our Airbnb. I don't know if you could see it. It is so pretty. I don't know if you could see this view, but this Airbnb is so nice. Like, check out this ceiling. It's just insane. The crown moldings, like, freaking beautiful. I love it. I love it here. I love these high windows, high ceilings, lots of light that comes through, but we're leaving tomorrow. I'm so excited to go back to Corsica. I'm so excited to have my view of the sea and the cows, and I miss it so much. I keep telling Alex how much I miss the cows, and I miss going to the seaside every day and like sitting on my balcony and doing yoga. I miss that. I miss that. I'm craving that so much. So this was a really nice trip. This was really fun. I got to meet a lot of people. I got to socialize. I got to, you know, go to a lot of shops and see lots of cool things, but I'm ready to go back to my quiet, simple life. I will see you guys later, and I hope you like this video, and yeah, have a magical day. Bye.